Business and marketing will give you the greatest insight into human psychology that you could possibly ever have. At the very least, it'll teach you to be open minded because some sort of program or marketing campaign that you want to launch that you think will kill it can sometimes surprise you and be a total dud, and vice versa. Something that you're just like kind of split testing for the sake of split testing will just take off out of nowhere. And it's an interesting insight into the human mind because you don't really know what people are thinking. We like to look at the data from marketing, like what's the ROAS, what's the cost per lead, and all these numbers, and data is essential, but there's other variables that you can't account for because although these numbers make sense, on the other end of a marketing campaign, at the other end of a Facebook ad that you launch, is a real human being, and people have different desires, different triggers. Some people hate your ad, some people love it. So the data never really tells you the full story. So psychologically speaking, the lesson here is that marketing is all about testing. It always has been just testing and seeing what the market says about what you're doing. And if we look at marketing from the perspective of we want to psychologically affect and change people in order for them to take an action, then we also need to realize that you are probably going to upset some people along the way, because the only way for you to really affect people's behavior is to be bold with what you're saying about your products, your services, your company, right? You're going to have to really stick your neck out and hope for the best. The best marketing is risky. There's no safe path to making a campaign super profitable and really successful. You have to take some sort of risk with it. And so when you look at the deals and the offers that a lot of fitness companies will put out there, particularly gyms and stuff like that, the reason why it seems like your campaigns never really get any momentum, there's no traction, and they often fail, is because they aren't bold enough. And if you look at like a typical gym ad, it'd be like 20% off membership this month, or get a free week of your gym membership if you sign up, within the next 48 hours, stuff like that. It's like there's nothing risky about that. There's nothing bold about it. It's not upsetting any people. It's not picking a side or being controversial. It's very safe marketing, and safe marketing in fitness makes you the most uncompetitive brand out there, right? You just don't stick out whatsoever. The perfect example of this would be Planet Fitness, who I think at least years ago did the most incredible marketing ever. I would never, it didn't appeal to me as someone who, who's into bodybuilding and powerlifting and stuff like that. But from a business perspective, I could see how it was one of the most genius things they've ever done. The whole lung alarm thing, telling people that most gyms are stupid because they're intimidating and the gyms don't cater to you if you're a beginner. That's genius. And you know what they did was they picked a side. They made people like me who was into, powerlifting and bodybuilding and stuff, they made us triggered and upset because we're like, well, that's what the gym's supposed to be about and stuff like that. But they knew that there was a market, this whole section of people that were totally intimidated by the gym and needed a quote unquote safe space to work out. They essentially played on the fact that people want to pick a side and they want to be a part of something, and they actually want some sort of opposition in a way. People love to have enemies. So anyway, kind of a long video, but the moral of the story is if you can, in a way, almost if you can piss people off with your marketing, you might be doing a really good job.